Welcome to the Sam and Ray podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Ray.
And how did you sleep last night, Raymond?
Good, I guess.
Do you ever dream at night, Raymond?
Kind of, maybe. I don't know.
I always have the weirdest dreams all the time. But
About what?
lately, it's been about me being in high school again. And they're not dreams, they're nightmares. Nightmares.
Like reliving old situations? Or?
No, just I'm very aware that I am a senior. I'm either going to like graduate in 2 days. It's very like,
It's really specific.
Yes. And it's either I'm going to graduate in 2 days or I'm a junior. I'm about to be a senior. And either way, I'm fearing the future. Like, what is after this? What is going on? And I'm just so scared. And even in my awake life, I am always very fearful of the future. So I don't know what's going on. If there's anybody who can tell me about what my dreams mean, that would be fantastic.
I know, huh? There's always, I know, huh? Fucking hate when I say that shit.
Okay, George Lopez.
Don't say that. I can't stand that guy. I don't know. It's very rare that I have dreams, I guess. I don't know. But when I do, they're very interesting.
They're so weird. I don't know why I dream the way I do. And I've even told you a couple of dreams that I've had. And you were like, that's weird. Why would you dream them? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, you know what's funny is sometimes when you speak, you speak, and I'm not saying specifically about dreams, just in general, but like when you speak, you tend to like start in the middle of a sentence or you'll be talking about something and then all of a sudden your conversation goes a totally different way, but there's like no warning towards it. So I'm like, so then when you explain to me how your dreams are, how like 1 minute you're here and then all of a sudden like in a split second you're in a totally different, I'm like,
well, that's the way I speak.
Yeah, I was like, well, that makes sense. It's kind of like your thought process.
Yes, kind of like this podcast where it's just like from one thing to another. And that's how my dreams are.
That's crazy.
And it's so weird. But I started thinking about high school. And how was your high school? How was your high school life? What was Raymond Andrew like in high school? I already have an idea, but you go ahead.
Your idea is probably wrong because your idea of me now is still wrong. You just have like this weird notion that you probably think I get.
Was you a player?
No, I don't think I was a player. I mean,
I don't want to be a player no more.
I talked to like, I think even now, like now I talk to a lot of women. I think I wouldn't say I was a player because I think to be a player, like you had to juggle women, right? Like I never had to juggle women. And I always tell people this. I was always just honest. I always just look at it like, if I'm done talking to you, I'm done talking to you.
You just ignored them.
No, I wouldn't ignore it. I would just not like. To me, there was never a point in trying to be like, oh, I'm kind of talking to this one, but I don't want to talk to that one because I like this one now. Like I would always be like, hey, look, I'm not really feeling this anymore. Like and kind of move on. Like. This is what it is. Which kind of sucks because there's that truth at the end of the day. Like, why would I lie to you? And then like, So no, I wasn't really a player. But I was chill. I was honestly.
What kind of group were you in? Did you even have a group or did you just float?
I think I was like a floater because I had like a lot of I had homies that were like from the street, and then I had homies like because I played basketball a lot, so I always had the homies that were like on the basketball team. And then one of those homies was dating a cheerleader. So we just like kind of naturally adopted that cheerleader life where, like the football players always had the cheerleaders, right? So it's just like for us, because one of the homies was dating a cheerleader, we just naturally started hanging out with the cheerleaders or they would come to our table in the morning. Which was weird because we had like the cool cheerleaders that weren't like assholes.
What's that like? In high school, I want to say I was a floater, but I initially floated away from the popular people because I was just like, yeah, I know exactly how you guys are.
I was just cool with everybody. I was like, I don't know.
I made sure not to go that way.
Once in a while, like I think towards the end, actually, one of our closer friends, they were actually cousins, and one of them, they had like their beef together, like amongst their family, but somehow one of them just like carried that into like the group, and we're just like, yo, what's your problem?
Like, listen, this ain't.
We're
not doing this.
I just ended up kind of like distancing myself from that person, and even like later in like after high school, like they be like, "Yo, man, we should go kick it." This and I'm like, I'm not really cool with you, bro. And it has nothing to do with like me picking sides. Like to be honest, it was just more. I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to have to like go. Like if I'm gonna kick it with you, I could kick it with you, but I don't want to have to go explain to the other, like to your cousin and all our other homies on that side, why I was kicking it with you, and vice versa. Like I don't want to be kicking with you, but then all I hear is you talking shit about him. Like I didn't want to be in that predicament, like, so I was like, man, fuck it, I'm out of here, bro.
Be neutral, man.
Now that I think about it, I've always been the person in the middle. That's always been like the neutral ground for people.
You're like, you know what? I don't want to play this. I'm gonna just like just roll with whatever.
Yeah.
So okay, when we were in college, there was a girl. We were holding hands and we were walking up the stairs. This girl came up from behind and grabbed his ass.
She slapped my ass.
She grabbed it, slapped it. Same thing. Who was that?
She was one of the cheerleaders.
Of course she was.
But she was like the Josie Grossi of the cheerleaders, I guess you would say. Like she didn't have any.
Did she not have any kind of social cue? Because obviously I was holding your hand. Why would she come up and slap your ass? Even though I wasn't upset about it, I was more like, are you dumb? She's got to be dumb.
I mean.
Was she one of those girls that like, oh, look at me?
No, I'm telling you, she literally had no. Like she was the one that was always depressed because she wasn't the one, like. She didn't feel like she was the one
she
that
didn't
met
fit
the
in.
Yeah, she didn't. Which I mean, she to me like she was a cool personality, but I think when you get into high school, like it's not just a personality. Like you worry about your looks.
Yeah.
Like, and you seen her, she was kind of like thick.
Yeah.
Right, but it was like a weird unproportioned thick, I guess you would
I
say.
don't remember her being weirdly unproportioned.
Well, she was kind of weird though,
Oh,
but
okay.
like in a cool way. Like not like, hey, you're a weirdo, I don't want to talk to you. She was just like all the homies, homie, you know, like
Oh, she got friend zoned
with every
with
guy, with every guy, and she was always cool. But then I think like during somewhere in between like graduation and then like after high school, she just started building more confidence, and apparently she thought it was cool to slap my ass.
And I was just like, okay. Speaking of Josie Grossi, I was Josie Grossi. Shout out to Noelle and Jen who would call me fucking Josie Grossi. I had braces. I had big hair. I still have big hair. I have glasses, all that. And I didn't like air quote develop until like my senior year. And develop, I don't mean like growing boobs and like, but I had that my entire life. Okay.
You're talking like socially?
I'm talking socially and dating wise. I never dated anyone ever. Maybe 6th grade, but that doesn't count because it lasts a day or two.
I took all your best years.
Yeah, you took all my best years.
You're welcome.
I socially didn't grow up until, I grew up, but not until like senior year. And I was 17. This is embarrassing. 17.
Why is it embarrassing?
I don't know, because I feel like everybody hit these milestones of like going on a date, having a boyfriend, kissing somebody.
But that's because society tells you had to do this.
I was 17 when I finally got my first kiss.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. And it was by a guy that I actually had a crush on.
Oh my God.
But now I see him and I'm like, yeah, I don't get it. Maybe back then I got it.
I look back at some of the guys you used to talk to and I'm like, what the fuck?
No, and that's, you know what's my fear is that they look back at me like, I don't get it.
They're tripping.
Maybe I was bored.
They're tripping. I could guarantee you if I seen them now, most like, I would say 9 out of 10, those motherfuckers are all bald now.
If you and I have ever spoken in the past, please send me a picture so I know what you look like now.
Man, all those fools look busted. I might be a little bit thicker than I used to be, but I'm still fucking sexy. I don't give a shit.
I'm thicker than I was, but I was 17 and that was the first time. And then after that, it's like, I think I just started dating outside of my high school. Not even dating, just talking, to guys.
I never followed that talking stage of shit until I got with you, to be honest. I really you can't jump in. You got to get your feet wet a little. You can't just jump fully in. The way
in.
you go into a pool, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Now. But to me, it just didn't. I didn't want to waste my fucking time. Like in that
you
aspect.
were already like down to get married and shit, or what?
No, but it was just more like, hey, look, like if we're gonna fuck around, we're fucking around. If we're not, we're together. We're together. Like, let me know what it is. Don't hit me with that. Oh, we're just talking. Like that shit don't make no fucking sense to me. And
It makes perfect sense.
and this is why I always tell you, like, this is why, like, I never hit that mark where I was like, oh, I like this one, but I want to talk to this one at the same time. Like that would fall into that talking stage category, right? So like you're trying to give yourself a reason that you're not cheating or something like that. And for me, it was just like, nah, fuck that shit. We either fucking around or we're together. And if we're together, then we're together. But if we're fucking around, don't be mad that I'm fucking around with other people.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what
too.
I mean? So,
Yeah.
But there has to be some type of clarity.
There needs to be a conversation had.
Yeah, there has to be the clarity has to be there, because if not, you're just fucking wasting time.
I remember having conversations like that with guys I spoke to, and one would try to hold my hand. I was like, no hand holding. I was like, we're not there.
Okay, so this is
that's more relationship
so
stuff.
this is the thing I always wondered, like, why would you waste your time doing that?
I had nothing else to do.
Why would you waste your time hanging out with people that, and maybe because I'm older now, but even back then I used to always think that, like, I'm not gonna fucking waste my time with somebody or something that's not beneficial to who I am or where I am in that point in my life. There's no point in me wasting my fucking time.
Yeah, I was young though.
So was I.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But see, and then
you're internally you're an old man. You've been an old man since birth, just like your son.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are both old men.
You know, it's funny.
Who are ready to settle down.
I'm not ready to. I'm.
Excuse. You better be fucking ready. How many years?
They say, well, fucking
You just got
15 years. Well, I don't. Obviously, I don't give a fuck. That's how old you. That's how you know you're getting that old, where all your answers are, I don't give a fuck. Like, it is what it is.
Okay.
And then later, we're just gonna go ahead and. What do you want for lunch today? like this conversation.
Not like you just didn't say you're not ready to settle down after how many years of marriage?
But it's funny that you said that about Josh, because on the way to take me to school on the freeway, there's like 3 fucking accidents. I was like, Jesus Christ. I swear, so I get off the freeway to take the streets, and I'm taking the streets, and all of a sudden he's just looking at all the lights. He goes, tosses his hands up in the air, and I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, what's up with these lights, man? They just don't want to hang out with us today, or what? Like,
he really is an old man. He's a backseat driver too, because like he'll be like, "Mom, right here," and I was like, "Okay, calm down. Are you gonna pull over to put gas in?" I'm like,
yeah. And then there was a guy. Remember a couple episodes ago, we were talking about how people like to like cut off sports cars and shit. And there was this dude like in this Jeep. And it wasn't even like a cool Jeep. It was like a Jeep Compass. It was like one of those Jeeps that if you like sneezed on it, it might fall apart. And this guy, like, for some reason, he just felt the need to like keep going like 80 on a 45. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with you? So I ended up getting in a lane where it was like wide open. And this dude fucking like catches up to me, and then all of a sudden comes around me for no fucking reason. And
because of the car you drive.
But then even Josh is like, what was the point of that? It's raining. What if his car flips over or something? I was like, exactly. I was like, but people don't.
I'm excited that he's that cautious so that when he starts driving.
You know what's crazy though? Like, so how we're talking about like all this, like we're now going to be getting into those years with him. And it's just like, I got to give him, and I think I've even told Ricky this. I don't like saying that it's game. Yeah. Right? Because I feel like, I remember growing up and even now, like some men, they're like, oh, I got game. And to me, in order, like, if you got to say you have game, you're pretty much just telling me you're a fucking liar and you ain't really got shit. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I got game. I could get any girl. Like, you could get any girl without having game. I didn't have no game. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have game.
You know what he did? He would come and bring me Starbucks, and I was like, hey, man.
I still come and give you Starbucks.
I know.
Never mind. I'm going to behave.
Oh, my God. Behave today, because Lydia has listened to this, and every time she's like, just give him some. He just seems so.
But she doesn't even know you do. So
oh my God! Shut up! No, I don't. I don't.
This is just how it naturally. Like, so we need people like Jen to be like, no, this is how they always fucking talk. And Diane waits for this moment.
Yes, because like, she likes to see me uncomfortable.
But no, it's just like now we're in those years with him where it's just like I got to tell him, hey. Like, whether you like the girl or not, whatever you do, be respectful with her. Don't, like, the things that we do with Carrot, like, hey, don't let her walk by the sidewalk. And even now, if you ever notice, Kara will like switch hands and walk to the other side because she won't let herself walk near the sidewalk. Which is
she knows she's a princess and deserves to be on the inside.
Well, and that's the thing is you got to teach them young. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, parenting wise, people will look at me and be like, "Oh, you're strict." It's like, I'm not strict. I let my kids do what they want. But when I have to discipline, understand that that's what my job is first at all times, is to discipline you. Not necessarily discipline you, but just to guide you in the right direction, right? So if I feel like you're gonna fall off track, and I'm either gonna gently put you back on, or if you
shove you over,
or if there's some resistance, I'm about to fucking push your ass back on there. You know.
I just I'm already thinking about when they're older and they're like, "Hey, I want to go hang out with my friends." Okay, go ahead, but I'm gonna stalk you.
You know what? So
because I did. If I think about the shit that I did in high school, and
not just that, but I think too, like, so my dumb ass. I've been going back and forth watching like different, and I love watching documentaries, right? And for the last like 3 years, maybe 4 years, I stayed away from watching the R. Kelly one. And then recently, I dabbled in it, right? And I was just like, son of a bitch. My daughter ain't going nowhere.
Nope.
Nowhere. And it's not to place blame on the parents, because even at that certain point where the parents are like, well, she's 18 now, she can do what she wants. Like, some of those parents still haven't seen their child, which the thing that pissed me off about it the most is that this man was actually doing all this shit while he was still on trial and going through all the shit that he's going through, you know? So not to dwell on that part, but I know for a fact, and I told you this the other day, like, even a couple of my clients are in law enforcement, and I've said it in front of them, like, look, I got people on both sides of the law. So I'm going to know where my kids are going. I'm going to know where they're going to be. And I'm going to know whether or not it's a good spot for them to be, just because of how I am socially. Like, I still tap in with certain sides of society where it's just like, all right, cool. And it's not because I'm out there doing shit, but I just need to know, like, we have kids, you know, and I think there's that side of life that people try to stay away from. But when you stay away from it, you're also doing like a disservice to yourself, because you don't want to look at it, or I'm gonna keep my kids away from there. Okay, but you can do as much as you can to keep your kids away from it. But what happens if they end up going into it? You're not going to know anything about that lifestyle because you wanted to keep yourself and your children away from it.
Yeah. I've learned growing up that the stricter the parent, the harder their kids go. Oh, yeah. When they're finally like, okay, you can go to this one thing. It's like, damn, girl, relax. No, like, what are you doing?
You know, and I would say 9 out of 10 times, but then there's also like that other side is just like, yeah, you needed some type of guidance. Like, you're out there just catching everything.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the documentary of R. Kelly, I thought about the Epstein thing. If you guys haven't seen it on Netflix, it is so it's just mind blowing. And these girls are taking other girls, like they're hiring their friends to go and do stuff to this man, and it's just like, you can't even trust your kids' friends.
No, you can't trust.
And
nobody.
and every day, because Kara and I pray before we go to sleep, and I pray like every day, like, God, just keep anybody away who is gonna be a negative influence on their life. Like, no matter who it is, if they're not good for them, take them away, take them out of our lives, not just her life, but out of our lives, like all of our lives, and just keep them away, because these girls were in fucking junior high doing this shit, high school, and they were helping him traffic girls. Well, it's crazy.
So there is one thing that I had seen, or that they had mentioned actually in that was kind of I wouldn't say eye-opening, but it kind of caught my thought process. Like, it stopped me in my tracks, because they said that people like that, obviously, like Mr. Kelly and Mr. Epstein, is what the reason why they end up doing things like that is because it makes it easier for them to not feel like they're the ones who did it, right? Like, it's like, well, if I have them bring these girls to me,
innocent to that part.
Yeah, they're like, well, the girls brought them. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how old.
You know what I mean? But it's just like, come on, bro. But I don't know. I'm just now we're in that stage with Joshua, and I think it's gonna be obviously a lot different with Kara because Kara's younger and she's a girl, and that's one thing I've always explained to you. Like, you can't raise my son through your eyes because one, you don't know what it's like to be a man.
Yeah.
And two, I've been on the side that is what someone say, like, you joke about it and you always tell people like, oh, your dad's been in the back of that car and that car, and we go to parades and the police, so anyone, like, when you guys go to parades,
Dad's been arrested by this guy.
like when the parade, at the end of the parade, it's always the escort of the police officers, right? And then it's like different cop cars, and this female over here,
You're saying this bitch.
she's over here. Your dad's been in the back of that one, in the back of that one. Maybe not that one.
And what does that say about me having married you?
Man, but you got a real one. I don't care what you say. If you would have got it with any of the other ones that you were fucking with,
I'd probably be divorced with 3 children all alone, and they would have never showed up.
and at the end of the day, you got the right one. And I'm not trying to stroke my own shit.
No. Honestly, I've thought about that. But continue on, and I'll finish my thought. But continue your thought.
We gotta go about that, raising him that way, because it's like, hey, look, now he's in middle school. He has interests, and one of his best friends happens to be a girl. And I always tell him, like, look, whether you like her to be your girlfriend at some point in your life or not, respect her. Because even if you guys are just best friends, you're probably the first male figure besides her father or anyone in her like family circle that is going to show her what it's like to be treated by a man. So you can't sit there and just be, oh, I'm her best friend, I could be disrespectful, I could do this and that. Like, no, you have to have that bar raised so high that if she looks at other men and they do anything less than what you do, and you're just her friend, then she knows, like, they're not the right one for her, And he's just like, oh, okay. I'm like, and I was like, and I always gotta tell him, that doesn't mean that's your girlfriend.
Yeah.
If you don't like her like that, that's fine, but you could still respect her. If you see her crossing the street, wait for her to cross the street and make sure she crosses the street. If you guys are walking on the sidewalk together, do the same thing we do with Kara. Put yourself on the other side of it. You got to build these little things here and there that kind of show that chivalry is not dead. You know what I mean?
Which,
because even when we went for your birthday, when we went to Olive Garden, I was saying, I was like, bro, like, you're getting older now. Like, you have to be a little bit more respectful. You're not going to be the first one in the door all the time anymore. When you're with your mom, or with your grandma, your sister, your aunts, any of them, open the door and let them in first. There's no more of this, I'm going to go in first. Like, nah, bro, like, you're getting older. You got to be more respectful. So we were sitting there. I remember you and Kara had to go inside to use the restroom. So while we're sitting there, we're looking like at all these families and all the men. He started noticing. He was just like, oh, look at that. Like, the dads are the ones opening the door. And then he would catch like one or two where it's just like the woman would open the door for the guy, and I'm like,
lame.
Like, high key, yes. Because then too, I always tell myself, when you're in public, you can't be on your phone just looking at your phone and not paying attention. And that was one of the things, I think one of the couples, when the girl opened the door, it was because the dude was on his phone just looking down the whole time, and she even like looked back at him like, are you gonna walk through the door anytime soon? And it's just like, when you're out in public, you got to protect the people you're around as a man. That's not something women have to do unless you're a mother.
I was about to say, I was leaning into my microphone.
Unless you're a mother,
like, homie.
But here's the thing: if you and I go somewhere with the kids, there's less stress on you.
Yes.
If you go somewhere with the kids without me,
so much stress on you.
Right? Exactly. So it's just like,
it's like, stay near me.
So those are the levels of importance I got to teach my son. Where it's just like, it's not just you anymore. Like, and you got to find someone that respects that, right? Like, once he starts dating, like, he has to find someone that respects and appreciates that he puts them first, because it's going to be so hard that I think in today's society, there's so many women that just expect it without appreciation. Where it's just like,
not all, but some.
I didn't say all.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
But you know what I mean? There's like, well, you're a man, you have to do that. Like there ends up being like this double standard where it's just like, I don't need a man, but you're a man, you're supposed to do that. You know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, like I don't need you, but you need to go like wash my car.
yeah, you know, or I need my oil change. Like, hey, come on. You like the reality is we all need each other in that aspect. Like, I need you to be able to calm me down when I'm fucking hot, or you need me to make sure that you know that things are gonna be okay.
Yeah.
When things are fucking rough.
Which this week I did. I got an email about layoffs, and I mean my job title wasn't on it, but I started panicking, like hardcore panicking, and you had to be like, chill the fuck out. It's gonna be fine.
But I say that all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well, also you say it all the time because I'm a panicker.
that's true.
Like you have to, like that was in
but
your
I also know my role, right? Like that's one thing that I've had when I have conversations with people. I always tell them like we all have a role. Like relationships aren't 50-50. They're not, especially not in today's society. They're not 50-50. There might be a time in your life where you as the wife is financially might be carrying the heavier load than I am, or vice versa. So you have to make sure just at the end of the day, you're at 100 all the time, no matter who's low. And at times it's going to get like, fuck, I'm always doing this or I'm always doing that. But you can't nitpick every situation. You just got to understand like, all right, like if it ends up being you're the one that takes care of all the finances and you make the majority of the money, I have no room to fucking sit here and complain about you not making fucking dinner.
Yeah.
That's like,
would you be upset if I made the majority of the money?
No.
It's funny because of what you said. Like if the woman is, making the majority, it reminded me of an episode of, remember the show Cristela? Was it Cristela? The comedian where she had a show for a while. There was an episode where the wife got a raise at work, but she didn't tell her husband because of how he was going to react that she made most of the money. But it's just like, is that even a thing anymore? Are there men out there that are still like, oh my God, I make less than
I think it all depends on your relationship, right? Because if you go into your relationship like, oh, it's 50-50, like what's the reality of that? One of you is going to make more than the other.
Yeah. So
automatically your mindset's going to say, hey, you should be able to take care of the majority of this because you make more.
Yeah.
Then that doesn't make it 50-50. Right? Like it's just, my thing has always just been like, fuck it, it is what it is. If you make more money or I make more money, at the end of the day, it just, for us, it just ends up being that way.
Yeah. Right?
I can guarantee you that if I was at like doing what I used to do, working in warehouses, we would probably be making the same.
Probably.
But I can't be told what to do. Like I'm not.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like I can't sit there and be like, "Hey, you got to do this," and this has to be your productivity levels, and like I can't. I mean, I can, and I'll do it, but my mind won't allow me to be happy with it, and that's why like I had to step out and do things the way I do. But it's just like, look, we're not together because I need you to pay my bills. Like you should never fucking get in that relationship. Like if the financial side of life is your number one priority in a relationship, you shouldn't be fucking in that relationship. Oh, we're together because it's, I know he could like, and I noticed that women do that more than men. And it's like, you like, that's one of the main things that you're looking for. So what is like, if you break down, what do you look like? I think we talked about it on this frequency. What is like the things that you like, you value in a man, right? Mm-hmm. And I think it was Natalie that ended up saying like, well, he needs to, make sure that he has a good job and this and that. And again, I always tell people that's your perspective and that's fine. That's cool. not a fucking problem with it. But I can guarantee that if that's what one of your main priorities or your main values is when you're looking for a significant other, that's going to be one of the first issues you have in your relationship that's going to last a long time until you figure out that financially, this is not what our relationship is not based off of finances. Finances is just a part of our relationship. You know, so like for us, like we've been broke. We had $10 in the gas, like in the bank, to last us 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, shit, we got to put gas. You know, and like you said in the past, luckily we had people like your grandpa Danny and like your mom and my mom that were helping us out with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But we've both been there. We've been at the fucking bottom, and you know, we're nowhere near the top of shit, but we're a lot further from where we were.
Exactly.
So I think we understand that like our relationship isn't based off of a financial status, right? But I think when you go into a relationship basing it off of a financial status, you that relationship may not work.
It's gonna crumble because it
won't necessarily crumble all the time.
But I mean, you had to have some more of a connection other than
aside from that.
Aside from that, exactly. You have to have like the emotional connection, the mental connection, the you know, the just everything you look for, and then I feel like the financial thing will come later. Because I mean, what if like you're super duper rich, but I can't stand you as a person? I cannot stand you, but yet you check all these boxes like, okay, well, you have financial stability, you have a house, you have this, everything I'm looking for, but your personality, oh my God, I want to smother you with a pillow. You know, like how, I mean, but that's everybody. Everybody has a different.
And I think you just gotta let time go and allow you to grow, right? Again, like you can't look at things like, and we're all gonna look at things a certain way when we first get into any relationship. But if you are in that relationship 5-10 years later, you still have those same perspectives. You and your relationship are not gonna grow. Right? Like you guys are going to be stuck in the same spot that you are. And at some point, you're going to get tired of it. You're going to end up having arguments. And if whatever I think you base importance on in that relationship, I think ends up being what you might end up fighting about the most in your relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, if it's a financial thing, chances are if you guys don't work it out, or like for some reason the relationship doesn't last, it's probably because of the finances.
Speaking of finances, I am watching the Murdaugh trials. Okay, if you guys haven't seen the Murdaugh murders on Netflix, it's really good. You guys should go see it. It's about this guy named Alex Murdaugh. He had a wife named Maggie and 2 sons, Buster and Paul. And they were one of those good old boys Southern families that everybody knew. They had a freaking reputation. They had money. They were lawyers, all this stuff. And they just have a lot of shit connected to them. And then one day, the wife and the son are shot. But there's things leading up to that. That happens.
There's a lot of criminal activity.
Yes, and a lot of things that are swept under the rug for them.
Because of
finances.
Because he was wealthy enough to be able to get, and you know what it's crazy is that he was wealthy and being a lawyer, so he knew the legalities to be able to get out
and
of
he
things.
had connections to different things and different people who would help them.
If you guys got to check that shit out.
And I've been watching the trials because I'm obsessed, like not just with this trial, but I watch trials. I don't know why, that's become one of my hobbies. I'll watch live trials on law and crime on YouTube. And I've been watching the trials, and he stole over $2 million from clients who were waiting for money from like their lawsuits.
Yeah, none of them got their money back.
None of them got their money. And the thing is like he really had people eating out of the palm of his hand because they trusted him. This law firm, I believe, was a family law firm at first, wasn't it? that he was
Yeah, I
working
think
at?
initially when his
Grandfather started or something.
it, yeah.
And so, everybody, they're from a small town. Everybody knew everybody. So they took his word for everything. And this man was like conning everyone. And even on the stand, when people were, testifying, they were like, I've known this man for years, but now I realize I don't know who he is because of all the things he did. And now he's on trial for murdering his wife and his son, which he fucking did it.
You know what's crazy?
It'd be crazy if he didn't, but
that it gives you that perspective. We talked about it earlier. Like, you don't know who's who.
You have no idea.
And it could be in the smallest place in the world. Like, it could be in a Fontana or in Ontario. You don't know who's who. Mm-mm. People are hiding out in the most awkwardest places.
It's scary. And you could be friends with this person and be like, oh my God,
but see,
they were a mass murderer.
That's why I go back to like the way we have to raise our children. Mm-hmm. Like, I
trust no one.
Because the thing is, like, his son, when all that shit went down with his son.
So his son.
I don't want to give away too much because you're gonna you guys just go watch.
Just go watch it. Yeah, we won't say what he did. Fine.
But what the son ended up doing, like, and now that I'm thinking about, because these are all the shows that the rabbit hole of fucking documentaries we've been going down lately. But like in the Murdaugh murders, there was no accountability. Like, they had no sense of accountability. Mm-mm. Epstein, no sense of accountability. Nope. R. Kelly,
nope,
no sense of accountability, because these people were doing the things that they were doing even while being on trial. So yes. It's just like, bro, you're on trial for doing this specific thing and you're still fucking doing it.
And you know what's funny is that you said that about R. Kelly and he's still doing it. I think in the documentary about Epstein, they were saying he was in jail already, but they were letting him out to go work during this period. They're like, what the fuck do you mean you're letting him out to go work? He's in jail. Like, what are you talking about?
And who does that?
People who are on his payroll.
Well, naturally though, like if I got locked up for anything, I'm not coming out until my fucking court date is settled. Yeah. And that's if they let me out.
And that's because you don't have the financial means to be having people do shit for you.
Yeah. But I don't know. How the fuck did we go from your dreams in high school?
I don't know. Let's go back to high school. You know what? Actually, it's funny because do you have any friends from high school still?
How do you classify friends?
Because, okay, here's the thing. I follow people on Instagram from high school. Do I speak to them on a daily? No. Have I seen them in years? No. I haven't seen them since we graduated. But they are literally still best friends with people they were best friends with in high school. Like, they grew this family, and I find it weird.
I wouldn't say, like, I have, like, friends like that. I'm very, like, exclusive when it comes to like how I interact with people, right? Like, I got my Rickies.
You have two.
So that's why
I always get confused. I was like, which Ricky? Which one are you talking about?
So I got Ricky the dude and then Ricky the girl, and then I have Nick,
the one.
Not the only one.
The only one.
I got all the icks. Pause.
Ricks and icks.
But I keep. I don't know. For some reason, I'd rather keep it that way, right?
Circle smaller one.
Yeah, but at the same time too. I got a homie that I went to high school with, Eddie, and he has his own brand.
Yeah.
So every time he comes out with like a hat or something, I always buy his shit. Because it's just like.
But see, that's different. These people, it's like their own little community.
They're going to like quinceañeras.
It's so weird to me, and I'm like, not that it's bad, but to me, I'm like, dude, I have two friends from high school that are left. They're both Liz. Liz P. I call her Liz Pompadour because she had a big old pompadour back in the day. And then Big Booby Liz, So they're two different Liz's. And I don't see them on a regular basis anymore because we've grown up. We have our own lives. But I will text them.
You guys pick up where you left off.
Yeah.
In a sense.
And I text them like, hey, happy birthday. Or, hey, I saw this or whatever. Or they'll text me like, oh my God, remember that one time? Because they'll remember. But other than that, it's not like I'm like, oh, let's date.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Everybody has their own life. But these people are like stuck together. And I was like, what did you guys do? This is very like no one leaves the group because some shit went down and we need to fucking keep it a secret.
You know what I think it is though too? They do the same thing we do. Only difference is we're okay with branching out into life.
Yeah.
Like some of these people are perhaps they're doing it because they want to keep their community tight. So just keep it tight with the people I've lived my whole life with, as opposed to going out. Because I could see that. I could see. So you're making faces about it.
I'm like,
but
no.
here's the thing. There's some people that will branch out to start a whole nother life because they're embarrassed by the life that they lived growing up.
Maybe that was me.
You know,
Yeah.
so there's like this thing where it's just like, I'm not gonna hang out with all these people in fear of you're just gonna bring up old shit that I don't want to relive.
Okay, you know what? That's me. That's me. Definitely. You hit the nail on the head. I'm like, you know what? This is my past. Peace out.
But your past is always gonna be your present if you don't ever learn how to deal with it.
Oh my God, you're so deep.
I'm not. Wait a minute. Wait. I thought we were behaving. Where are we going with this? But no. So I just think that's usually what ends up happening. Like I grew up with. I think one of the only reasons why I end up like still communicating with a lot of people from high school is because of my occupation. So like some of my clients I went to high school with. So I'm like chopping up their kids and getting their haircuts ready and stuff too. So it's just like, in that aspect, I still communicate with them. As far as like, oh, you know, come kick, like, oh, we're going, because I don't think you've ever hung out with any of my friends that I used to hang out with in high school. You know, I hardly hung out with them after high school. Besides my ex, I don't really communicate too much other than like once in a while here and there. Like, the homie Eddie, that's the one that we got kicked out of Dodger Stadium with. And this was like years ago. So if anyone that works at the stadium, don't look at me now and be like, oh, you got kicked out of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, I don't think you should have announced that. But it wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't even the homie Eddie's fault. It was just somebody being salty. So
because their team sucks.
Yeah, their team was losing and we were celebrating. But the crazy part is, so let's backtrack to that story. So I think it was Dodgers versus Brewers, and at that time we still had Matt Kemp, and the Brewers had the Brewers had Fielder. So it was myself and the homie Eddie, and in front of us it was a mom and a son. But it wasn't like a little boy. It was like the son was like our age and the mom was our parents' age, right? And she was cool because she was sitting there talking shit just like everybody. And this play ended up happening where Cecil Fielder ended up fucking hitting the home run. Like, he smacked the shit out of this ball and it looked like it was gone. All of a sudden, Matt Kemp, as soon as he heard that crack, you just see him jet, jumps the fucking wall and robs the home run. The whole fucking stadium erupts. And the dude and his mom were like sitting there like, oh, fuck. Well, if any guys remember wrestling, the homie Eddie was doing that D-Generation X thing that all the kids used to do, like that whole suck it thing.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, oh, yeah, right? And they were cool with it. The mom and the son were laughing. They're like, man, that was, and we sat down and we were talking about it. Like, man, that, like, we were nervous. They were nervous. Like, it was cool. Nobody had an issue with anything that was going on, right? Mm-hmm. This happened early in the game. We get kicked out in the 8th inning of the game. because somebody around our area called that hotline, and so they had to come escort. They're gonna escort the homie Eddie out, and they're like, "Well, sir, you don't have to leave." I said, "Well, if he's leaving, why the fuck would I stay? That's the homie." Like, I'm not. Yeah. I was like, if he goes, I go, and then so even the mom and the son looked up like, where are you guys taking him? Like, well, ma'am, it was from our understanding, and someone reported that there was like misconduct going on and this and that. Oh, and God. The mom and the son were like, they didn't do anything. Like, fucking leave them alone. Let them watch the rest of the game. This and that. Bro, everybody in the whole fucking, like, in our whole section was booing, and we kind of looked over and we seen like a couple people that weren't booing, and we're like, I was like, you know what? Don't let me catch. And I was
gonna ask a question, but it might be rude.
These were my younger days when I didn't think too well. So I was just like, bro, let's just get out of here because something's gonna turn into something. I don't want to have to deal with this shit. So we ended up leaving. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really, other than chopping up some of the homies' kids, I don't really fucking have like friends like that.
Yeah.
That group that I was telling you about, I don't talk to any of them anymore.
I'm surprised I even have a group.
I technically can't even talk. I can't even talk to the one that smacked me in the butt because she was in that group. And so she smacked me on the butt. So now that definitely, like, I can't talk to her ever.
Why?
Because you don't like her.
I didn't say I didn't like her. I just said I didn't understand the
But if you ever...
social cues, honey.
But if you ever seen me talking to her, you'd be like, man, fuck that bitch. Like, every time you would see
because I don't care. But my thing is like, I would... mentally and socially, when is that ever okay?
Look, I stick to who I got now.
No, and like
I'm
I
cool.
said, I'm surprised that I even have a group. I'm surprised I have friends.
Why?
Because I don't like to put myself out there.
But see, I think that's why you have friends, because the friends you have are dope as shit.
Yes.
And Lydia, don't get all big headed.
Well, she's dope as shit. No, but we're actually talking about this. We'll probably have to talk about it on a different episode. But like the people that gravitate toward you. Like how do you find your people? Like how is it that
I let them in? I think because there's been people that like they'll come around and they'll be like, and if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. Yeah. You know, like
there's just some people that give off a vibe.
I gotta scope it.
Yeah, and I feel like we brought this up last time, like why this old lady at work hates me, and then why the crossing guard, like me and her have a vibe. Like, hey, what's up?
Maybe the one that doesn't like you grew up that way with that same mindset you have, but she really didn't have friends. You have the mindset that why would people want to be my friend, but you have lots of friends.
And then I also am very like I said, I'm shy. And
you're not. Yeah, you're shy at the beginning because,
in a sense,
ladies, Nancy, Lydia, all y'all, Elaine. If you listen to this, Elaine, you
I'm not shy
let
once
everybody
you get to know me.
fucking know that this woman is not shy.
No, I'm not.
You think
I
talk a lot? I talk a lot from the start. This woman don't shut up once you get to know her.
Once I'm there, I'm there.
I think that's why we're always so inappropriate with each other.
Maybe.
But it is what it is.
But I don't know. I just.
Like you have a high guard.
Yes.
At the beginning, but
and I think it's because I've been screwed so many times from a young age from friends. People suck.
Yeah.
Like I remember, I was telling my mom the other day that she would be like, Samantha, make friends at school.
Oh yeah.
I was like, no, I don't want to. She's like, shake my hand and be my friend. She's telling me to do this when I'm in elementary school, and she's like, be aggressive. Be aggressive. I was like, you told me to be aggressive so many times. I turned into a bitch. I think I took the assignment wrong.
See, I think we did it different. My mom used to, and obviously, I think my mom and your mom obviously grew up a lot different areas, different lifestyles. So my mom just always naturally, like, if anyone who has ever met my mom, you meet my mom and you look at me and understand who I am. You realize that I'm pretty much my mom's fucking twin in a sense. Like, one, I look like my mom. Two, we can't hide our facial expressions.
No, you can't.
If I don't fuck with you, you know I don't fuck with you.
Uh-huh.
And two, we don't let nobody in that, again, isn't like you have no place to be of an asset to me in a sense. So I'm not going to waste my time with you. Like when we go to my mom's house, it's always just us.
Yeah.
And then once in a while, my aunt will be there, my uncle will be there, but it's real tight, and it's cool like that because you're not stepping into something that's going to be more than it should be. Like, who, like once you walk into that house, that there's not going to be any type of drama.
Any
there's not
bullshit.
Gonna, yeah, it is
bullshit.
what it is.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's why too, I stay in my bubble.
Yeah.
Right? Like when if I go to your dad's house, like I'll just go sit in that one corner and I mind myself, only because it's just like, I'll let you guys do your thing, Like I'd rather just let me sit here. And it's not because I don't like anybody. That's just who I am. I think even like if we go to Jen and Roman's, I'm in my bubble with Roman. like me and Roman are in our bubble.
And then if Brian shows up,
yeah,
it's
and then we
we
open up the bubble and let Brian in, and it's just like we're just in our bubble. And Brian's the more sociable one. Where like,
that's very, very true.
Not saying that me and Roman aren't sociable, but it's just like
you guys are more the quiet type.
We're like, hey, yeah, what's up, man? And don't touch our Yoletta. Like,
and that's so funny because then you guys are the quiet type, and your wives are the more social ones. Which is weird because I feel like I'm not social.
But you guys are family.
Yeah.
So
we're like,
yeah, like me and Roman are cool, just being like, hey, what's up?
But Roman makes faces that I already know what he's thinking.
Oh yeah.
And he's just like, and it's usually his eyes.
Yeah. Like the rest of the body doesn't move. He's like,
no, he's just like yeah. And then the big old beard, you can't see what his mouth is doing. It's just his eyes. Like his eyes say it all,
And it's funny because we have at the shop. So it's me and the homie Chris now that we're like, I guess some would say like the OGs, and Chris is the same way. Everyone's like, damn, why is he so quiet? It's like he's not. To me, he's not quiet. Like Chris, the one that I went to barber school with. So it's just like, I've been to his kid, like the gender reveal for his son, his wedding. Like, me and him are cool, but we don't have to tell the whole fucking world that we're cool. Yeah. Like, we don't have to be like Laverne and Shirley fucking skipping down the sidewalk. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but then people are like, and we're actually literally on opposite ends of the shop. Like, he's at the front corner, I'm at the very back at the other corner of it, and it's just like. And then when we say what's up to each other, say bye to each other, it is what it is. And we'll have like our own personal conversations. Be like, why is he so quiet? It's like, he's not quiet. Trust me. He's talking more shit than you think. Like
just by looking at me from across the room.
He's like, you know what I mean? He's like, look at Nino.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, look at Nino over there. And it's just like, here we go. Like, here's this. You got that in? I got this in. All right, let's go. But those are the relationships I value. Yeah. Where it's just like, I don't have to say much to you. You know where we're at, Yeah. But
exactly.
That's why, like, when I look at like your friends, you do have a lot of friends. But there's like specific friends where I'm just like, I know I know about them on a daily basis more than any of your other friends, and those I'm just like, all right, cool. But I'm glad to know that though, right? Because it's just like, they bring some type of clarity of knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Like if we ever go through something, I know you'll be okay because you have those select people that check in with you damn near on a fucking daily basis, where it's just like, and vice versa. I didn't text Ricky the other day, and then like somewhere in the middle of the day, she was like, hey, welfare check, are you good? And I'm like, and then I didn't respond to her until after I got home from the shop. It was like 9-10 o'clock. I was like, yo, my bad. I didn't mean to break our fucking cycle.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, she goes, dude, she's like, I was getting worried. Like, where's, like, I wasn't in any of the group chats or like for OTF or for Severe or any, like I wasn't in any of in the group chats. Like I just, like that day, I just kind of like detached and was just like, I'm chilling. I have things to do. And I just really didn't respond to anyone but you. Obviously I have to.
If I don't respond to anybody, it's usually because I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sleeper.
Yeah. Well, that's why don't be saying that too loud though. That's why people are gonna break into your car again.
I didn't want to talk about my car. I was kind of like okay without it.
Stop fucking to bring it up. Wake up. Wake up so you can hear what's going on.
I'm just gonna sleep on the couch near the fucking window and just like
put a couch on the sidewalk.
Yeah, like, I'm watching. My eyes are closed, but I can hear. Like dads do when they're saying, I'm watching that. But
I'm watching that. Closed.
I don't know. It's so funny because there's two songs that popped into my head while we were talking about Friends. And the first one is Friends. How many of us have? And then if anybody's ever watched My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend,
Never seen
It was so funny. She's psychotic. But she would always have these scenarios playing out in her head, and she definitely didn't have friends, but she would always do these musical numbers, and the song she sang was like, I have friends. I definitely have friends. Friends, friendly friends. Time to meet my friends. And there was like 2 people.
2 people.
And then she was like, the janitor from my work. Like, they're like, I don't even know who you are.
So who she thought were her friends weren't even her friends.
I have friends. Yeah, it's so good, though. It's so good. You gotta watch it. She's crazy.
See, that makes you think. How was she in high school?
Psycho. Probably. Most likely. Yeah. There was a psycho girl I was friends with in high school, and I had to drop her like a hot tamale.
Like what level of psycho? Like she wore Velcro strip shoes?
That's not nice. What if she didn't know how to tie her shoes?
That's pretty psycho.
Velcro strip shoes are fine.
Nah,
That's
I
how
don't know.
Kimmy Schmidt on the something Kimmy Schmidt show. She got
my
kidnapped.
thing is if you have Velcro and you're an adult, you're psychotic in the sense of you're psychotic in the sense of you are able to do any and everything else but tie your fucking shoes. That means you're a fucking psycho.
No. Okay. No, let's take that back
No,
because there
I'm not
are some
taking it.
adults with disabilities who cannot tie their shoes.
Are we talking about them?
You have to be specific of what
I think I was really specific.
capable adults.
I was pretty specific in saying that if you live
Meanwhile, I'm strapping my Velcro. I can't even say it.
I literally just said that you can do any and everything but tie your fucking shoe. I didn't say that they had restrictions. I'm not talking about people with restrictions. If you don't have fucking fingers, that's a restriction. If you, you know what I mean? Like you gotta just flap that. You gotta flap that Velcro over with the nub. I understand. You're good. You're good, bro. But I'm not talking.
We're definitely canceled. It was nice while we last.
I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about people that are like, they're one track minded, and being able to tie their fucking shoe is definitely not on their to do list. They probably walking around Walmart like, I could put a person in this bag.
Now,
and then
let's not talk about Walmart people because oh my god, Walmart people.
Hey, some of those Walmart people are getting transferred over to Target. You guys need to slow your fucking roll.
Seriously.
I'm not liking this whole shit no more. I'm going to just drive up everywhere now and just pick up everything.
Oh my god, it's like you're supposed to be at Walmart. Why are you here?
With your fucking Velcro shoes. You take your people that go to Target tie their shoes. If you want to go fucking be in here, learn how to tie your shoes.
I feel like people who work at like a CVS, like the actual CVS store, who run like the front registers are Walmart people. Really? I feel like they're so weird.
I don't know which ones you go to, but
the one in Upland next to Marshall's.
Jesus Christ.
Foothill and Euclid, y'all. One of them definitely on crack.
Don't say that, dude. My homie's mom works there.
Oh, that's right. Except for the older Hispanic lady.
Fucked up, bro. She's definitely not one of those.
No, there's a blonde that works there. It's a guy.
Like, you telling me to knock it off. You getting real specific.
His name is like, Dylan.
You got this whole, we just got canceled. So now in your head, fuck everybody. Right?
Fuck the guy.
No, because there's a CPS by the shop, and they're pretty cool ass people there.
Yeah, but this is Upland. Well, so that could be it.
So then say that. Don't say
those are Walmart people.
Yeah, those are Walmart. Yeah, because there's not a Walmart in North Montana.
I shop at Walmart. Okay, but it's the people checking you out that are just like, "Are you good?
Nah.
You okay?"
I only go to Walmart when I know Target's acting up. and that's when all of a sudden they want to start raising prices on dumb shit. Like, no.
No, for real.
I'm going to Walmart for this. I'm not paying.
There's even TikToks about people going to Walmart to shop, and they're like, "I'm going to Walmart," and they go in like their robe and their curlers, and they're like, "Oh, Walmart didn't have it. I'm going to Target," and they get dressed.
They get dressed to look like they're shopping.
I'm going to Target.
I'm telling you, man.
It's different worlds. Different worlds.
It is, and I don't. Oh, man, we're gonna have to talk about that one day.
It's different worlds.
Jesus
definitely.
Christ. Well, okay, so going back to high school, when you were in high school, where did you guys shop at more?
I was fat. Well, I'm still fat.
The fuck does that have to? I see fat people at Target and Walmart. It don't matter.
No, I had to go to special places.
Are you saying?
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I didn't marry somebody with special needs, guys. By the way, I'm not.
After hearing me not be able to say words, you'd think differently.
Valco.
Other stuff.
But
not knowing how to do things. I would go to the Chinatown Square and I would shop at Mode Plus. Holla, I'm
not talking about apparel. I'm talking about everyday stuff.
Oh, well, I didn't do that. I was a child. My parents did that.
You never went to the store with your parents?
I mean, I did, but to like buy makeup and stuff, I didn't really look at what they did.
Okay, so you didn't look at what store you walked into?
Oh no, I just went blindfolded.
You closed your eyes and you opened them up all of a sudden.
It was always Target.
Did you see red or blue?
It was always Target. Target. I just said. This is why I have an obsession with Target.
Yeah, you're a snob.
I am a snob. I don't like Walmart a lot of the times because if I don't go butt ass early in the morning when all the workers are getting there and the store's open, I will not go because then by fucking afternoon, 2:00, everybody and their mom is there. I can't fucking take it.
The reason why I don't like going in the morning is because for some reason, employees have this idea. And I'm talking about employees in customer service, but they have this idea that it's okay to be upset with themselves and take it out on everybody else because they have to be at work. Look, motherfucker, I don't care if you don't like your job. Don't give me a fucking attitude. I didn't tell you to fucking work here.
Yeah.
It's not my fault you still live with your mom and you're fucking 40 and you work at fucking Walmart.
Now listen, this is coming from someone who worked retail for a very long time.
But I never
once had an attitude, but there are some assholes who come in early in the morning. I need to hurry up and get this done because I got to go to work. Well, who told you to come in before you had to go to work to come and do the shit?
I don't know.
Now you got to give me time because my registers just woke up and they're a little bit slow today.
My shit is get your fucking pallet out the middle of the fucking aisle.
That's something that's inappropriate.
Because the store is open.
Yeah. Like, why is it right in the middle where I got to get my pads?
And then when I'm saying, excuse me, you cut your eyes at me like, hold the fuck up. I'll slap someone on the clock. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I'm not getting paid. You know, so like, don't cut your, excuse me, can I get by here? And then you turn around and cut your eyes like, you know what, fuck you. Now go get it for me because I'm going to treat you like shit. Yeah. You going to treat me like shit, I'm going to treat you like shit. At least you're getting paid to be treated like shit. I'm spending money and you're gonna treat me like shit. Fuck out of here.
No, but there are some customers who feel entitled that I shop here all the time, so they think they can treat you like shit. And
if you go to Walmart and you feel entitled, you're just fucking confused. Because if we go to Walmart for fucking savings, homie, we don't go to Walmart because.
You know what? I take it back about people who work at Walmart. Because I know someone. Well, you know what? They work at the grocery. So
you're being specific though.
The Walmart grocery, that's top notch. I've never had a problem. It's the Walmart that sells clothes and all the shit together.
You're being specific. We're not. So like I've said before, anyone that listens to us, we generalize.
No, because I really love
spectrum.
this person and I forgot that they work there.
At the end of the day,
it's at the grocery one. Yes, it's specific.
At the end of the day, we're not being specific to a certain one, even though Samantha likes to call out CVS with their specific store number. But it's just
near Marshall.
In general, it's just don't take shit personal. If that's not who we are in a sense. I'm not speaking like, oh, because I'm saying in a general sense. My experience in a general sense of going to these places, this is what I experience. If you're not that person that gives that experience, you shouldn't have to take no offense to it.
Yeah.
Don't rep it that proudly because I could guarantee you that company does not appreciate you as much as you think they do.
They don't. They can give two shits.
With that being said, y'all.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ray.
Thanks for listening.